court should be yet less or more. We have to check that. So the court cases. That's interesting. That's interesting. So นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ย you have got it. So these are I don't write it because it's taking time. So we differentiate them into different. So production. So it's output. Food and livelihood. So this then output. I mean our result is a result. After we do it, we got this one. Okay, so good one, interesting one.
Goal one is about the sustainable ecosystem service, and the second one is decentralized to support by gas reduction. The first indicator, the first goal, we represent in percentage increase, decrease, or standstill. And the stakeholder follow law and legal measure. After we have the post area and post season and notification that input, like Ajahn said, we have input already for the post area and post season. We have an indicator like this. This one is a production indicator. This one is governance, and this one will be human income. About the income, cash flow, we pick up from Ajahn said what, and then income we can measure. This one is can measure by percent follow up of the law and legal measure or number arrested. For income, we can make some survey or questionnaire about the good living or change their life. Daily life, like I have one new TV or cell phone or something, new car or so on. It means that they have money to buy something, and then in this level, not only the user or the user here, or of stakeholder around the area has income increase. Like if you buy a car, the company of the car is get income, or cell phone, they have a rich person over there. That is the better income. For the second goal, that we pick up the decentralized to support by cash reduction. This is issue for the indicator, how we measure. We use the percentage or the number of participation. And for the second one is administrative set up, that we have our plan to set up fishery, or the number of set up is the indicator. For the participation, we have raw and legal orientation from the participation stakeholder. We just have the percentage that they have known about legal and laws and legal. We can measure by percentage. And the last one is a leadership, that we can have if the leadership is in the indicator, how we measure from the experience, how many years experience and knowledge, at what level of education. That's all of our goal.
Because it's almost same. Now looking at the soft indicators. Leadership is one of the objects that we can use for determining how strong the centralization system. But we can see that when we break down the leadership indicator into the determinants, it may not be able to tell us exactly what is the leadership can support to decentralization, because of we are familiar with these variables and parameters. We pass through 15 of using same questionnaires, same observation list. But if we define clearly what is leadership mean, then perhaps the variables will be selected differently. For example, leadership definitions mean the people who can make change to the organization. People who can make positive change to the organization. So if he is the executive director of the LGU, I mean the executive of the local government, what change he has been made in relation to trout fishery in the past 2 years? Experience is so-so. So he will put, oh, I have 15-year experience, so what? Then what change you have made to the trout fishery in your area in the past 2 years? So he will say, I will do this, I did that. What impact did you see? Have the people around you, are they happy with you? Well, yes. Did you get vote increase? No. So so indicators or object lead us to identify parameters or determinants. It's important. The point I'm trying to make is that do not stick to what we did. Change the way we do. Then we would get a quality report that people want to read. So there are many things in here that we can learn, okay? So thank you for raising this good example. And all of this, yes, decision making is the impact indicator or outcome indicator. Admin setup is a law, is a regulation, or is an input. Participation can be process, if that is the pilot project. It can be also the outcome if it is continued. If it is continued, then it can be outcome. Leadership. During rebig, leadership is good, but after rebig, no more. Then it's only process or input. But if the leadership continue after rebig, then it's the out impact. So, see, it depends on the circumstances and how we look at it. Okay, now we come to Vietnam.
The first point is bycatch measure understood and put into place. So I would love to give it a crack to break down a bit. The first crack is the legal framework of chore fishing management. And the second, we think about technical management methods. The third one is the awareness of chore fisher communities. And the last point, the compliance among stakeholders. For the second point, the standardized database. We break it down and we got data collection systems and capacity building. The last point is the willingness of local communities. We focus on the willingness of local communities in terms of provide data, collect data. So, welcome any comments or recommendations. Thank you.
Joe showed us how focused on economics your national policies are, and I don't actually see that aspect reflected in these goals and indicators. Am I missing something?
So we have the three goals under the prioritize under the process of the consultation with the management level. And the first is for the sustainability. I think the other group doing this is very well. Therefore, we choose the second is B&E, and for the second ranking.
Oh, okay.
Yes. B. Yeah. F is for the some economic for the local community, but we not do it because we choose two roles under the scoring results.
The data one was.
This one is for bycatch management.
Can we see your scores?
Yes. Okay, B, yeah. B and E, B6. E6. E6. And here is the E. So that education system. Because this morning we mentioned that because just only the technical officer sit in the table, therefore maybe the perception and thinking is not quite consistent.
So they have, huh? So it's low. So it's come number 2. Okay. Okay, so legal framework, technical management method. Okay, so this is the SOP, operational step, operational procedure, for example, or administrative procedure. To manage to recommend the measures. Oh. So you mean this when they are using already, so apply already. So this is then result. Awareness of the trout fishery community. Input. Yes, input. Because they are aware, that's why they apply. You think so? So if they do not aware, if the attitude doesn't change, they will not change the practice. So they have to change the attitude first. So in this case, if once the attitude change, which is the input of the process, then it's produced this one. So it's a part of the input. A compliance among the stakeholder, and this is impact. Yes. And very good impact because it's clear, because especially the measures has to be compliant. This is a big one. I think we should put this in a national report. Standardized database. Capacity building is a process. We train the evaluator to collect data. So it's a process. So it's out. Willingness of the local community to provide information. I think this is something outcome too. If they are willing, they should participate in providing data. To build their attitude to provide data, it takes time, so this can be outcome. So this is interesting. And I think if you like, we can even make this visible at the report because it indicates participation. Data collection system is quite headache, but it's the input. So we don't need to worry too much, work from whatever we have, but at the end of the day, we produce output of the standardized database. But if you have the standardized database, it means that what you are put in is the data, it has to be good quality data. Right? So it is a very important input.
I think with goals, I'm not sure you mentioned this, Joe, but I often find myself it's useful when you write a goal is to ask yourself why am I doing this? The one I think most recent example of this was the Vietnam example of standardizing data. I would challenge you to say, why do you want to standardize data? Is standardizing data a goal in itself, or is it the way to something else? And I would venture to say, you want to standardize data because you want to do something else. And maybe that something else is your goal. So what I've tried to do is to look at all your goals that we've heard this afternoon, the lovely presentations, and I've tried to put them into the framework which some of you will recognize. Here we have the EAFM balance. Those of you on the course last week will know this, will remember this very well. On this side we have ecological well-being, conservation type thing. We want the ecology and the ecosystems to be strong. On this side we want humans to benefit, people to benefit from bylaws, etc. Now the beautiful thing about this this diagram here is that it's arranged around a balance. It's a question of balance. If your governance weighs too heavily in favour of human well-being, so this one comes down, then the ecological well-being becomes too light. Similarly, if your governance focuses too much on the ecosystem, makes that too heavy, then the benefits to people are reduced. Too much conservation, too many MPAs, people may not benefit. So governance is all about achieving this balance, whereby ecological well-being is balanced with human well-being. This is the beautiful thing about EAFM, in my opinion. So what I've tried to do with one more slide is to put your goals into this same framework: ecological well-being, good governance, and human well-being. And look, by each country, Papua, Indo, Philippines, Thai, Vietnam, where your goals are mostly focused. For example, PNG, your primary goal is focused on good governance. What was your primary goal? It was looking at management, what was it again? Management and regulation. So that's separate. But they're also looking at human well-being, the economics, I think, of the fishery. Nothing on ecological well-being. Actually, for Papua, that might not be such a concern because the trawl fleet is so low, so small. Indonesia focused primarily on ecological well-being because of the selective gears, which is actually helping your ecosystem. It's not helping your people, it's helping your ecosystem. Secondly, was a governance one. Nothing on human well-being. Do people not matter? Perhaps we should consider that. Philippines, beautiful. 1, 2, 3. I think this is what we're looking for in our program. I think what we're looking for is a balanced goals within the EAFM framework from which we can work across these 3 important issues of ecology, human well-being, good governance. Thailand's a bit of a problem, a little bit, because ecological well-being was there, you had good governance, but under your ecological services one, you had a lot of livelihood things. There's a lot of livelihood, there's a whole lot of things listed about incomes and human well-being. I suggest you make a 3rd goal. And then you would be balanced as the Philippines is balanced. Vietnam, and this was a surprise, and I said this earlier, it seemed you were looking mainly at selective ecological well-being with trawl selectivity, was it? What was your primary goal? What was your first goal in Vietnam?
Fishery resources.
Right, sustainable fisheries resources. You want the ecology to be strong, yes? Yeah. And the second one was about the governance, standardized data. Why do you want to standardize data? Well, it can only be to use it for governance, yes? Why else do you need data? Right? Not sure? But, funnily enough, your national priorities were economy, and yet, as I said before, you don't seem to have a goal that relates directly with human well-being. Now, I don't know if this makes sense to you. To me, this seems quite a logical approach, and it's perhaps a good time, if we can agree this, it's a good time to come together strongly on this. Because from my perspective, it's very nice at the program level, when I talk to my colleagues in FAO, RAP and Rome, to say, yes, our program does reflect EAFM principles, and the goals of each country are reflected. They do reflect these 3 important areas. This to me is very beautiful. I hope I've managed to sell the ideas to you. You want your work in Revit to be balanced across these 3 areas, in my opinion, so that you don't miss something, so that you don't focus too heavily on one aspect of this. For example, it's no good jumping in on good governance and ecology and forgetting human well-being. It's no good trying to do ecological well-being and human well-being type activities if you don't have any governance. You know, I think those people that were on the course last week should probably understand this. Others of you may struggle a bit, but it's actually quite a beautiful way of making sure your programs and your projects cover these three areas.
This is one of the alignment exercise. At the end of the day, we will have to come up with some idea that listen to more technical information. So let quick brainstorming and how they take on this issue from the perspective of, okay, maybe 5 minutes and then we go around.
Mas priority natin yung enforcement rather than human being. So dapat balance kasi sila kumain doon, sila kumakain doon. But
point of view, and the second is the point of view under the framework of the REBIT2 project. Okay, so the first one I completely agree with Rick, and I think it's a very important for the fishery management, and to us the three components of the EAFM are supporting to each other, completely supporting to each other. And if we lack one, the results, the effectiveness is not enough. So the most important that is the how to